will be ready for the Rams season opener September 7th against Houston. It appears the alarm has finally sounded at Rams headquarters about Stafford's health. The 37-year-old Stafford has been diagnosed with an aggravated disc in his lower back. Stafford was supposed to make his practice debut on Monday but did not feel right. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we aim to foster enlightening, sustainable, restorative dialogue, and we welcome unapologetically progressive viewpoints that empower fellow citizens. We are now accepting submissions for KBLA Talk 1580 guest editorials like this one.
With the KBLA Talk 1580 guest editorial, I'm Martin Gordon, chair of the Pasadena Community Coalition. Recently, I listened to a Tavis Smiley show conversation with James Farr. James said something that caught me off guard. Black out the Dina is gone. My community is being murdered. I said murdered.
All you have to do is go to our website homepage at KBLA1580.com and click on the icon that says KBLA Guest Editorials to learn more about our editorial standards and content submission guidelines. As long as the topic aligns with our mission, we are happy to review your submission and consider it for broadcast. We can't make any promises, but we want to amplify progressive perspectives that are community-focused and solution-oriented. So, go to KBLA1580.com right now to download all the information you need about our guest editorials. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
I remember when I lost my mind. There was something so pleasant about that place. Even your emotions have an echo in so much space. And when you're out there without care, yeah, I was out of touch. But it wasn't because I didn't know enough. I just knew too much. Does that make me crazy? Does that make me crazy?
I'm Tavis, Smiley. Glad to have you with us in this hour. No, we are not crazy. Donald Trump is targeting black folk, as we just discussed in our first hour, given what's happening in D.C. right now. Just the latest in a black city with a black mayor being targeted by this administration. So Donald Trump is targeting black people, and to my mind, George W. Bush left black people to die on rooftops in New Orleans 20 years ago. We'll get to that in just a second. In this hour, two conversations. On the backside, we'll talk to Elliot Knight and Uli Latukefu, co-stars of the new Amazon Prime series Countdown. We'll talk to them. They come in studio, I think, on the B-side of this hour. But as promised, we commenced this hour in conversation with Academy Award-nominated filmmaker Traci A. director of the new NatGeo series Hurricane Katrina, Race Against Time. The 5-part series is exec-produced by Ryan Coogler. Hard to believe it's been 20 years since Hurricane Katrina, but that's where we are. Before we commence the conversation with Traci A. Curry, here now the trailer for Hurricane Katrina, Race Against Time.
If you're still hearing us and you haven't left yet, please leave. I hate to say this, but I just don't have enough body bags.
The calmness before a storm is deafening.
As Hurricane Katrina was approaching, we knew this was going to be a catastrophe.
I didn't want to leave because I didn't know what we was going to be coming back to. I just was praying.
There is a house
People won't realize how big Katrina was.
Is too big to turn. It's gonna hit us.
It's not a normal hurricane. Something's wrong.
And my heart just sank. We have a breach in the levee.
We have rain inside the Superdome. I repeat, rain inside the dome.
In 3 minutes, it went from the ground to the roof.
A lot of people suffered, and a lot of people suffered needlessly.
Just let me know y'all living, you heard me?
People coming out of one bad situation, a They didn't know they was coming to another hell.
We expected FEMA to come in, but there was no help.
I told the guys, go find whatever boat you can find. We went and did what we had to do to try to save people's lives.
This community was not wanting to go out and just loot. There was people trying to survive.
You got a governor. What is they doing? Sincerely, bro.
That's not something you ever want to do, is tell the troops to shoot civilians. Governor, that's your people.
They just let us down. To them, we wasn't even human no more. But people from New Orleans, we knew how to survive.
And this is supposed to be the greatest country on the planet.
In order to prevent something, you got to understand why it happened in the first place.
There is a house.
Traci A. Curry, good to have you on the program. How are you today?
I'm good, Tavis. Thank you so much for having me.
It's my honor. Let me commence by saying congratulations. You have done an amazing piece of work, girl. I just want to tell you congratulations for starters.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Let me ask where you start. It's been 20 years, and we have seen so much and heard so much about Katrina over 20 years. So when you approach a doc series like this, you start where?
With curiosity.
Yeah.
When I knew that I was going to be starting work on this, I just happened to be in New Orleans that summer. I was at Essence Festival promoting a previous series that I'd done. And I thought, let me take the opportunity to talk to some of the people that are from the city about what they think the rest of us have to learn 20 years later, or what we might not completely understand. And what was really interesting is that I talked to a lot of different people, the person that was driving my Uber, server at a restaurant, a woman who was doing my makeup. And what was interesting to me was that they all said some version of the exact same thing. And that was that for those of us who experienced New Orleans as visitors, we come, we do the Mardi Gras, your jazz festivals, Bourbon Street, Essence, all of the things. And New Orleans feels like the New Orleans as we expect it to be, or the New Orleans of our imagination. But what they said was, for us, which is to say the people who are from the city, who lived through Katrina, that is not their experience. That they really describe this sort of bifurcated experience of their own city as before Katrina and after Katrina that continued to this day. And so that right there sort of let me know that there's something that they have to tell the rest of us about Katrina, and that we really needed to ground this story in their experiences, because I think there's a way that we tend to remember Katrina as this thing that happened to America sort of writ large, and that's just not the case. It's something that happened very specifically to these people in this place, and so that's the story that we set out to tell.
That delineation, or that line of demarcation, does not surprise me at all. The before and after, we'll probe that before and after, what Traci A. Curry learned in this documentary series, now on NatGeo, streaming on Disney Plus. It's called Hurricane Katrina: Race Against Time, taking us back 20 years ago this month. More with Traci when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
From California to the Carolinas, everybody's listening to Tavis. More when we come forward.
You gotta dip your chicken strips. Hey, this is Kiani.
And this is Tabitha.
And a little thing we love about Chick-fil-A chicken strips
is all the different sauces we can dip them in. I like to line up all my favorite sauces so that in every bite, I have a different flavor. Then with the tenderness of the chicken, the juiciness of it, it's all there.
And for me, I like to mix my sauces so I get a little tang and I get a little sweetness all in one bite.
That's what makes it for me. Like, that's what does it for me.
That's what I'm saying.
It's the summer of Chick-fil-A chicken strips and sauces. Order now on the Chick-fil-A app. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
Make a move into a home of your own. With City National Bank's Ladder Up Home Loan Grant, you could receive up to $20,000 that you never need to pay back. Use it toward your down payment, save on closing costs, or to buy down your mortgage rate. Find out more at cnb.com/ladderuphome. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Property must be in a qualifying market in California, New York, or New Jersey. Additional terms and conditions apply. Not all applicants will qualify. Terms are subject to change without notice. City National Bank is an equal housing lender. Member FDIC. NMLS number 536994.
Some things can steal your sunshine.
Ugh, I just got my hair done.
Sorry, the cooler's broken. Anyone see my flip-flops? Anyone?
But COVID-19 can steal a lot more.
I just took a COVID test. Ugh.
Prescription medications for COVID exist. If you test positive this summer, ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com/COVID-19 to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
There's one question every couple needs to answer. What if something happens to us? Kids, a house, a life you've built, but no estate plan? That's a risk you don't want to take. With Trust and Will, it's fast, secure, and easy to protect what matters most. Start your plan today at trustandwill.com. Use code RADIO to save 20%. Check it off your list. One less thing to worry about. Trust and Will is an online estate planning service. See website for details.
Trust and Will. Hey, it's Matt, your leaf filter trusted pro. Gutters are an often neglected part of the home. They're also one of the most important. Clogged, overflowing gutters can cause serious problems like foundation damage or basement flooding, which can cost thousands of dollars to fix. Let's face it, cleaning gutters yourself is not only a hassle, it can be dangerous. But when you get Leaf Filter, you'll never have to worry about cleaning clogged gutters again. Get started today by visiting leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free inspection. If you decide to move forward, we'll professionally clean, realign, and seal your gutters before installing our patented stainless steel micro mesh system. Leaf Filter keeps out everything but the water. And it's backed by a lifetime transferable no clogs warranty. So you're protected for good. We're in your neighborhood and ready to help. Visit Leaf Filter today for a free inspection and estimate, and you could save up to 30%. Visit leaffilter.com/deal. That's leaffilter.com/deal.
And the top-rated African-American talk show host in the nation, according to Talkers Magazine. You're tapped in with Tavis Smiley right now.
Tavis Smiley and Traci A. Curry. So for at least the next 15 to 20 minutes, it's the Tavis and Traci show, or the Traci and Tavis show, talking about her new NatGeo series, Hurricane Katrina, Race Against Time, taking us back 20 years ago this month to New Orleans. So Traci, you teed this up. Tell me more about this line of demarcation, this before and after, that you heard so much about from the residents of New Orleans.
Yes. Well, one of the things that's important to know about New Orleans pre-Katrina is that the city had a very low rate of transience, which is to say, if you were from New Orleans, you tended to stay, and if you left, you tended to come back. And so what that meant was that there were these very, very closely knit ties of kinship and community and family amongst people in the city. So if you lived on a certain block, your auntie was over there, your uncle was over there, your cousins were on the next block, grandma and grandpa, maybe great grandma were right over there. And so those stories of family and who people were and identity were very, very closely knit together, literally, because people were so physically close with one another. And so one of the things people need to understand about Katrina is that when the city was evacuated, it was the largest mass displacement of people in the United States that had ever happened up to that point. And so what Katrina did was it rent apart those ties of community and kinship that had been there. And many of those people who left never came back, or were never able or allowed to come back, I should say. And we get into that story in the series. And so those ties that were so fundamental to the way that people understood their city, and even things like your school. New Orleans was a place where, you know, people would ask each other your last name, how your mom and them doing, or what school you went to, and it told the high school you went to, and it told the whole story about you, about your family. Well, Katrina created the pretense for the replacement of the public school system with the charter school system. And so now that high school on your block that you and however many generations of your family went to, now maybe your school's across town. And so there are all these like layered ways in which Katrina, or the sort of all of the things that we understand now to be contained within that term when we say it, which wasn't just a storm, just transformed the city as the people of New Orleans know it forever, in ways that have never been restored or gone back to the city as they recognized it.
I want to seize on this statement you just made now, that it wasn't just a storm. It was not just a storm. Indeed, it wasn't. And I've been doing a lot of reading, of course, and watching your work, preparing for this conversation. And I'm anxious to ask you this as a filmmaker, given your, again, phraseology, that it wasn't just a storm. We've witnessed many disasters. But to my mind, there's a distinct difference, or certainly can be, between a disaster and a tragedy. A disaster doesn't have to become a tragedy. So this wasn't just a storm, and it wasn't just a disaster. It turned into a tragedy. How so? Why so?
Well, one of the things that we get into the series and that we wanted to remind people is that Hurricane Katrina, while it was this sort of massive, very powerful storm, there was not a direct hit on the city of New Orleans. Like the tragedy did not happen because of the storm. Hurricanes were not unusual to the people of the city. In fact, people would often have hurricane parties because there had been this history of large storms kind of forecast to hit the city, and then it would sort of peter off, or there'd be a near miss. And that's pretty much what happened with Katrina. But what we show in the series is these layers of man-made institutional systemic protections that are stripped away from people, which created the vulnerability, which then created the tragedy. And so every episode of the series, we pull back another one of those layers. In the first episode, it's a part of the story that I think is something that's new and revelatory for how we tell the story, which is that Katrina's an environmental justice story. That we all know about the man-made barrier, which are the levees that failed due to government failures and ineptitude. But there, in fact, if you telescope out from that, there was this natural barrier, which were the coastal lands that had always sort of blunted the full force of a storm from hitting Louisiana coastline and New Orleans in particular. And that's because a hurricane picks up energy by going over water. So whenever it has to go over land, it slows down. Well, what we know and that we reveal in the series is that that land had been disappearing for decades before Hurricane Katrina ever approached the Gulf Coast. And that has everything to do with man-made interventions in the environment, whether it's dredging for canals or the oil and gas industry in the area. And as you hear Malik Rahim, who's one of the people in the series, say, because we were so drunk on prosperity, we have destroyed that first natural barrier that was protecting us. And in our story, it's a man from the lower Ninth Ward who's the first person to notice this, because as a child, he plays in these areas. It was sort of a natural wonderland for him, where he's fishing and catching turtles and all of these things. And as an older man, he goes back and is shocked to see that it is gone, that it has disappeared. So that's sort of the first of those layers. And then we just kind of go from there and sort of peeling back again the man-made barrier that was supposed to be there in the levees, and then sort of the safety that a media narrative that centers your humanity can provide, which in this case dehumanized people. And so the level of safety that was stripped away there, and then once you dehumanize people, then you can destroy them. So then we sort of get into the state violence, right? In a moment where the state at every level, federal, state, and local, should be protecting these people. These people are being targeted. And from there, we go into the last episode where we really get into sort of institutional racism in housing, and how that also stripped a layer of vulnerability away from people in terms of the recovery. So when we say that it's not the storm, we mean that. We mean that the thing that caused the tragedy are all of these sort of systemic and institutional failures on the part of man and the state that caused this disaster to become a tragedy.
I'm just grinning over here, Traci. This is not my first time, of course, talking to Traci about her work, but I'm grinning because as a talk show host, this is your dream, right? You have a filmmaker who isn't just a great filmmaker, but knows how to tell their story. You'd be amazed, Traci, the number of people I talk to on this program who've done some pretty amazing work, but don't know how to really relate it to the audience, or don't know how to tell their own story. And I got all these questions running through my head, and you're answering them one by one the more you talk. Let me go back now and try to unpack some of what you just said. I am particularly fascinated, and there are any number, and Traci again she laid this out a moment ago quite nicely. There are any number of systemic failures that you're going to see Traci A. Curry unpack in this series, Hurricane Katrina: Race Against Time. It's a NatGeo series, I repeat, once again, streaming on Disney+. So there are a number of systemic failures that she unpacks, but I want to go to this, to the political piece, which you just, tapped on a moment ago. I want to double click it if I can. And I'm not even sure if I want to refer to it. I've been thinking about this for the last 10 seconds. I don't know if I want to call it political impotence or political incompetence. Maybe both. You tell me.
Oh.
yeah. There's a pregnant pause. I hear.
Yeah, it's interesting because, I've been asked sort of, well, why, you didn't talk to George Bush and some of these people. And clearly it was a failure on the part of the president of the United States. We can sort of lay these failures right at his feet. But I think that there's a way that we like to talk about racism and classism and these things that focuses on individual bad actors in a way that erases the work of the structures and the systems. And getting your hands around those things can be very thorny because, like, what is a system? What is a structure? And so I think for me, I was less interested in sort of like the big P, blue, red, Democrat, Republican politics, even though we sort of do get into some of that and why the communication between the mayor and the governor and the president was disrupted because of those reasons. Then the smaller little P politics of things. And so, we get into the fact that one of the deciding factors for why people did not leave, because everyone's like, well, they told you the storm was coming and you knew, and the mayor announced it, was because of things like poverty or because people were elderly. One of the most devastating things in the series to me at the end is General Honore says when they went in to recover the bodies from homes, it was overwhelmingly older people who could not get out of their homes, and also disabled people. And that not only that, but these things were known and knowable. We tell the story of the year before when there was pretty much a simulation of exactly what ended up happening with Katrina that was put together by city, state, and federal officials. And they gamed this whole thing out, what would happen, the city would be underwater. I think in that case, it was the levees being overtopped from above instead of failing from below, which is what happened during Katrina. But the outcome was the same. And they concluded that there would be, I think the number was like 100,000 people left behind in the city, and that those people would be predominantly poor, elderly, and disabled. And this is exactly what was what happened during Katrina. And yet there was no provision and no plan made for those people to get out of the city. So yes, I think there definitely sort of is a place for the big P political critique, and we certainly do get into some of that, and we have a little fun with sort of Michael Brown and his lack of qualifications and lack of urgency and understanding around that issue, which of course was George Bush's selection. But I also sort of felt like putting too much of the emphasis on Bush himself. Like, we know that he came out and said that what Kanye saying what he said was the worst moment of his presidency, or whatever it was, that it takes the focus away from what we wanted it to be in the story, which is the experience of the people of the city, and really making manifest and explicit the way that these institutions and systems caused the harm that happened during Katrina to them.
Yeah, we had Michael Brown on this program not long ago, and let me just say it was a spirited conversation between the two of us. And you mentioned George Bush, that line, "You're doing a heck of a job, Brownie. You're doing a heck of a job, Brownie." Brownie was on this program a couple weeks ago, and again, it was a spirited dialogue. I'll just leave it there. If you missed it, check out the podcast. You can find it. But there's that. So the other thing I want to get to, I've got 4 minutes left here. I want to cover a couple other things. I'm so glad you went there, and it's one of my favorite pieces of the series. We've indicted the systems and structures in this conversation. We've indicted the politics and the politicians in this conversation. But you mentioned earlier the media, and I am so glad that you weave that in. As a person who's a part of the media, nothing unnerves me more than to see my industry just fail time and time again at covering certain kinds of stories. But you got a serious media indictment in this series. Tell me more.
Yeah, so that was one of the first things that I knew that I wanted to spend a lot of time on in approaching the series, because I remember even watching Katrina in real time, and we have this moment in, I think, the 4th episode. I was watching CNN, and I remember Wolf Blitzer, there's like images of aerials of all of the people at the Superdome, and he goes, "They're so poor and they're so black," which, yes, literally, many were black and many were poor, but it got at this sort of way that people were covered as this sort of disindividuated mass of black need and suffering, and beyond that, suggesting that people had descended into this sort of animalistic, predatory state. And I used to be a producer in cable news. And so I understand the low hanging fruit of, well, let's just lean into these sort of pre-existing narratives about Blackness that align them with sort of criminality and neediness. And I'm Black, and I've been Black my whole Black life. So like my point of view of it was, let's be curious about another version of this story in which people are human beings responding the way that human beings do. And what we find, and this is from what people told us, was that the story on the people of New Orleans was not that they had descended into this criminality. Of course, there's always going to be opportunists who do things that are harmful when things like this happen. But you also get people doing that type of thing when, their favorite sports team loses sometimes. Yeah. But the story in the people of New Orleans was that those ties of kinship and community that I'd mentioned before did not break. That despite all reason, because they were completely dehumanized, they kept their humanity and continued to look out for each other and care about each other. So that really was our goal and intention, was to kind of reveal the truth about the people of New Orleans and also let them speak back to that narrative. In the scene with Wolf, we have a man who was a Mardi Gras Indian who was trapped in the convention center saying, oh, well, let me tell you about what it is to be Black and poor. One thing we know how to do is survive. Oh, yeah. And so we really wanted to also center the agency of people, that no one was just waiting around, that even in moments of despair, when someone's trapped in her attic, she still has a moment of faith. And that still also is an act of agency. Yeah. And so all of these things were our intentions. And hopefully we have succeeded in correcting what had been sort of a persistent and erroneous narrative about the people of the city.
You've been a producer, so you know how this works. I got a tight 45 seconds here.
Yes.
I want to make one other. We talked about your conversations with these precious people in New Orleans, these precious brothers and sisters there, about their before views and their after views. There is another frame: before, after, and next. Anybody concerned that what we saw 20 years ago still could happen again, given the environmental justice story that this is?
Oh man, Tavis, I wish we had more time.
Yeah,
to
so
talk
do
about
I.
that.
So do I. Yeah.
Anyone that's paying attention to the reality of climate change is going to be concerned about the future of New Orleans and really all of our coastal areas. And not even that, we've seen similar things play out, whether it was the wildfires in California, whether it was North Carolina, in the sense that the people who are most vulnerable on the front end have the least ability to recover on the back end. And now with what seems to be happening to FEMA under the regime, it's hard to have optimism, but I always put my money on the people of New Orleans, and that's where my faith is for the future of the city.
Always bet on Black, somebody said.
Yes.
When you put Ryan Coogler and Zinzi Coogler and Traci A together, you're going to get some great work, and that's exactly what you have in Hurricane Katrina, Race Against Time, NatGeo series streaming on Disney+. It's an amazing piece of work, and I was impressed because, again, I do this all the time, right? It's hard to come 20 years behind something and do something different and better and open our eyes in ways that we had not seen this tragedy 20 years ago, but Traci pulls it off. Great work, Traci. Congratulations. Good to have you on the program.
Thank you so much for having me, Tavis. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. More of Tavis Smiley when we come forward.
This is getting good. Yeah, man. Tavis Smiley continues when we come forward.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. Immigrant rights advocates in Los Angeles are staging a day-long community stoppage, boycotting stores like Walmart and Target to protest ICE activity. The Coalition for Humane Immigrant Rights Los Angeles Communications Director, Jorge Mario Cabrera.
They know better. They know that this is a very peaceful activity, that this is within our rights.
Cabrera says the action highlights immigrants' economic power. A judge overturned the convictions of the Winston-Salem Five for the murder of NBA star Chris Paul's grandfather, Nathaniel Jones. But two men, Rayshawn Banner and Nathaniel Cofton, remain jailed as the DA appeals. And MC Hammer is being sued by JP Morgan Chase over a defaulted auto loan on a 2023 Land Rover. The bank claims he owes over $76,000 and won't return the vehicle. They are seeking repossession, repayment, and legal costs for breach of contract. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Buy more, save more at Scandinavian Designs Furniture. For a limited time, save $200 instantly for every $800 you spend in store. Complete your look for less or splurge on something you love. Stop by your local showroom today or shop online at ScandinavianDesigns.com.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Angels opened their 3-game series against the Dodgers Monday night with a 7-4 win in Anaheim. The Angels are 4-0 against the Dodgers this season. Things are not going well for the Dodgers. Their 12-19 slump since July 4th is starting to catch up to them. Monday night's loss dropped the Dodgers' lead over San Diego to 1 game in the NL West Division. On July 2nd, San Diego was 8.5 games behind the Dodgers. Rams head coach Sean McVay is not sure when quarterback Matthew Stafford will be able to practice with the team. McVay also is not sure if Stafford will be ready for the Rams season opener September 7th against Houston. It appears the alarm has finally sounded at Rams headquarters about Stafford's health. The 37-year-old Stafford has been diagnosed with an aggravated disc in his lower back. Stafford was supposed to make his practice debut on Monday but did not feel right. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Hi, I'm Jesse Jackson Jr., inviting you to join me weekdays at 12 noon right after Tavis Smiley here on KBLA Talk 1580. As a law school graduate and a theologian with a firm grasp of our body politic given almost 2 decades in Congress, my show is the fresh new home of an authentic, uncompromised quest for transformation and salvation, both personal and collectively, as I vigorously interrogate the theological and symbolic meanings embedded in our society. I promise to leverage my knowledge of history, theology, and both international and domestic issues to imagine an inclusive vision for the future, which I hope will inspire all of us to pursue life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness as a given, not just an aspiration. So join me weekdays at 12 noon right after Tavis Smiley for 2 hours of the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show only on KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
Hi, I'm Zoe Williams, a.k.a. The Voice of Reason, encouraging you to join me weekdays from 7 to 9 p.m. for the world's most intriguing relationship radio roundtable. Every night, I facilitate and encourage our loyal listeners to participate in the most engaging relationship discussions you'll hear anywhere. So make it a point to rendezvous with me, Zoe Williams, the Voice of Reason, Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Trust me, your relationships will never be the same. The VOR is on fire tonight.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black. This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
Paid for by government.com. Did you know? The United States Mint has issued a new Morgan silver dollar coin in proof condition for the first time. Not only that, they are also minted in 99.9% pure silver for the first time ever in history. Coin experts are calling this an amazing opportunity for anyone that knows the enduring popularity of Morgans. But you must hurry. Only 400,000 of these legal tender silver dollars were issued. These first ever Morgan silver dollars are brand new with stunning mirror-like finish, minted by the iconic San Francisco Mint. Call now and you're guaranteed a new first ever 99.9% pure silver proof Morgan dollar. To learn more, call 1-800-973-9717. If you order now, you will receive a free coin collector bonus pack, a $25 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-973-9717 now to secure your new Morgan silver dollars before they are gone. That's 1-800-973-9717.
Freedom is an endless meeting. So let's get back to it with Tavis Smiley.
The conversation now, following that brilliant dialogue by Traci A. Again, I highly recommend that series. If you've not seen it, it's streaming on Disney+. It's called Hurricane Katrina, Race Against Time. 5-part series produced by Ryan Coogler and Zinzi Coogler, so I recommend that. Also recommend you checking out Countdown, the new Amazon Prime series. Before I get to our conversation with our guest, here's the trailer.
I was just checking to see how you were after that bomb went off in our face last night.
Ready to rock.
Yeah?
Yeah, 100%.
You are the best, or I would not have selected you. Our mission could prevent another 9/11. Foreign players planning a Chernobyl-level event here in Los Angeles. Nobody can know what we're working on.
You've done a few undercover runs?
Yeah.
Oh! Being under, it's about improv. You almost shot me. Yeah, but I didn't.
I thought it looked really good, man. Really good.
I know, right?
We're working to stop a weapon of mass destruction.
They were just here.
Hang on.
One mistake, we are dead.
Showtime.
You okay?
Oh,
No.
you care about me.
No.
That's very sweet.
They don't play by a rule book. Why should we?
I'll play this however you want to play it. Whatever the consequences.
You were acting like you had a death wish. My God.
Boy, that got a little salty. If I'm going out saving something.
The co-stars of Countdown join me live in studio now. Pleased to have them here. One of them has an easy name to pronounce. The other,
that's me.
Yeah, no, it's not you. The other, I've been practicing for 3 days. Let me go with the easy first. Hi, Elliot.
What's up? How you doing, Tavis? Good choice.
Yeah, Elliot Knight and Uli Latukefu.
What's up?
Did I get it right?
You got it.
Close enough?
Close enough is good enough.
The pride of Sydney, Australia.
Yes.
It's always fun for me because you get two co-stars, you get a set of co-stars in studio, and you ask the question I'm about to ask now, and you get two different answers, which is great because it's expansive. So, Elliot, you tell me first about Countdown.
Well, first of all, we had a great time making this show. It's a very explosive, very fast-paced, character-filled crime drama. It's been fun to do it with Amazon Prime. It's fun to do it in like a streaming platform. To have like the taste that puts on it is pretty unique for us. But we had a great time doing it. Derek Haas created it and has made this amazing story that unfolds over about 10 episodes. And we're about to see how that concludes coming up, which would be pretty cool. But it was a fun-packed time for sure.
Yep. And your character?
My character, Keontae Bell, he's a third-generation FBI federal agent. He's, I like to think of him as like the wolf of the pack. He's very driven and he has a point and a purpose to prove. He wants to earn his space and show that he can do it up there with the best of them. And he's in the legacy of his grandfather and his father as well. So he has this undercurrent, his own mission that he is on a personal level to prove that he's earned his spot and he wants to rise to the top. He wants to direct the FBI one day and be the first black man to do so. And so he's pretty driven.
Yep. All right, Uli, you tell me about Countdown.
In a nutshell, Countdown is a show about a special task force that's been put together to initially solve a murder. And it's comprised of LAPD, DEA, FBI. And then what happens is it uncovers a larger plot, and that larger plot is a big threat to LA. Jensen Ackles, Eric Dane, Supernatural, Grey's Anatomy, we're pulling a lot of those fans in. But like Elliot said, it's a 13-episode series and created by Derek Haas. He's got an amazing track record, and it's a show, high thriller.
And your character,
Luke Finau is he's Tongan. Which is great for me. I'm Tongan.
Yeah,
worked out great.
That worked out nice for you.
But he's worked in the LAPD gang unit for about 17 years, and so he's a gang unit specialist. He comes in dealing with weapons and narcotics and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But he's a family man. He's very driven and very protective of his family, and it's something that I can really relate to.
Yeah. We chuckled a moment ago when we said, funny how that worked out, that Tongan character, and you happen to be that. But on a serious note, what does it mean for you? And I don't want to overstate it. You tell me, to play that character in real life and on screen.
I don't want to get too emotional, but it means a lot.
Yeah, I can only imagine. Yeah.
Tonga, for those who don't know, is a neighboring country to Samoa in the South Pacific, neighbored by Fiji. And the population of Tonga is about 100,000. Now, many of us in the 70s, 80s, 60s even moved out to the US and Australia and New Zealand. But we're very low in numbers. So for me to put Tonga on the map in that way, it was actually Derek Haas's idea. He called me after I got cast, and said, "Hey, I'd love to honor your heritage." And for me, it's a step forward to opening the door for young Tongans and young Polynesians to feel seen.
I'm curious. I'm glad Derek made that decision. Did he ever express to you why that was so important to you?
No, he didn't. He didn't. I mean, from a logical point of view, it makes sense. But to hear him say "honor my culture," it moved something in me. It felt good to hear that. So
that's not a phrase you often hear in Hollywood.
Say that again.
Dishonor your culture, maybe. but honor your culture. And what is it? I'm fascinated by this. Let me continue for a second here. What is it about that culture that we ought to know? What is it about that culture that would be inspiring and empowering for us to know?
Wow, where do we start? It's the only kingdom still remaining in the South Pacific, so it's got a very proud history in that, has a royal family and that kind of thing. But despite how small it is in relation to the rest of the world in terms of numbers, in terms of its actual size, we still are a very proud people. We have pillars that were kind of instilled in us culturally by the royal family and that kind of thing, and it's based on humility, respect, love, honor, and those kind of things. Those values, I think, carry on throughout. They cross all cultures, and we could use some of that right now. So we're a very proud people. We're a very, very loving people, compassionate, and we out here.
I thought you said don't get emotional. You over here making me get emotional. It's so cool. It's really cool.
Elliot, talk to me about how this series fits into television as we now know it. And I ask that in part because there are more crime stories. There are more serials than we can count.
For sure.
How does Countdown fit into the matrix of all the crime stories that are out there these days? Does that make sense as a question?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, you're right that there is a ton of I'll use the word content, I guess, in the era that we're in now, but people love crime. For whatever reason, people love to follow crime stories. I think what we were intent on making different about our show is making sure that we focus on the complexity and the humanity of these characters as we move through. There's always going to be stakes. We want those to feel real. We want people to be on the ride with us. And so when there is a potentially deadly threat to the city of Los Angeles, that is a real beating pulse throughout the entire show. But what's also true, just like in life, is when there's dire situations we have to deal with, we're also dealing with the complexities of who we are as people. We're also dealing with the dynamics that we have to be faced with. And even like something like identity and our culture can come into that. Maybe sometimes that gets in the way of how you're able to do your job. Maybe the reason that you're so driven to do what you do is not just about, wanting to save people and save the day, but also you have something to prove for yourself. Maybe you're still fighting to get your place and your seat at the table that isn't, just given to you necessarily. So it's been fun making this because we've got to, especially as actors, really focus on being people rather than just being case forward only and only fitting our characters into what the case is. It's like they don't necessarily fit all the time, and that's where a lot of the conflict and the entertainment comes from to watch.
There's a lot of content, a lot of energy, a lot of physicality in this. I'm looking at Elliot and Uli, and I'm headed to the boxing gym tonight, as I do most every night.
Let's go.
But I'm feeling like a punk right about now, looking at the two of them. There's a lot of physicality in Countdown, and the two of them are as buff as ever.
You gotta check in with us.
Yeah, come on. After this, we'll go.
Let's go together. Yeah, let's go together. More with Elliot and Uli when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
Generous listening. Charitable listening. It's why everybody wants to talk to Tavis. The conversation continues when we come forward.
We asked seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up. Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone. And should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month.
If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. LA County's new Justice Care and Opportunities Department, or JCOD, is here to support justice-involved individuals and their families. The JCOD Support Center is now taking calls at 1-833-LACJCOD. That's 1-833-522-5263. Available 7 days a week from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m., the Support Center is your one-stop shop for re-entry issues and court support. They offer court reminders, connections to local services, transportation assistance for housing, court appearances, and childcare. The JCOD hotline provides personalized help to connect you with services that you need. And don't forget to check out justiceconnect.org for more information. Remember, it's free and available every day at 1-833-522-5263. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Do Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keep coming back? Tremfya, guselkumab, may help, with rapid remission achieved at 12 weeks and lasting clinical remission at 1 year. Some even saw visible improvement of their intestinal lining at 12 weeks and 1 year. Tremfya is a prescription medicine used to treat adults with moderately to severely active Crohn's disease and adults with moderately to severely active ulcerative colitis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Healing is possible with Tremfya. Approximately 3 out of 10 patients were in endoscopic remission at 1 year, based on areas visualized on colonoscopy, which may not represent the deeper bowel layer or entire GI tract. Individual results may vary. Ask your doctor about Tremfya today. Call 1-800-526-7736 to learn more or visit tremfyaradio.com.
Less monologue, more dialogue. Tavis Smiley continues right now.
It does indeed, with the co-stars of the new Amazon Prime series Countdown, Uli Latukefu and Elliot Knight. Join me live in studio. Delighted to have them both here. I'm fascinated always by people's backstories. The audience knows that. As you can probably tell, Elliot is from someplace outside of L.A. with that accent.
It sounds crazy.
Yeah. I'm always fascinated by the backstory. How did you get to L.A.?
How did I get here? Yeah. So I went to drama school in the UK in Manchester, and then I got my first professional job in the UK doing this adventure series. It was such a dream for me, and that opened up an opportunity to come visit LA as an actor, to like meet managers and see if I could get representation. My agent at the time came with me. And you know what's funny? When I first came here, I did not like it at all.
You didn't like LA or the country?
No, the country's fine because I've been as a kid because I have family who's in the States.
Okay.
But
you didn't like LA?
LA, I was like, did the film industry like vomit all over a city? It looked crazy out here.
Yeah.
It's like, I guess there's nothing like it back home. Even in London, there's billboards like every block here. It was just, it was a lot. It was a lot. But, you know, I loved it here, and there was so much opportunity here, and this is my home now. It's been my home for over a decade. But yeah, I was fortunate to have an acting opportunity that opened a door to come here. Then I got representation, and I ended up, I remember it was my 24th birthday. I hadn't found a place to call home. I'd grew up going between homes with separated parents, and I'd never had a place that just felt like my home where I could stay and base myself. And my wish for myself on my birthday was, I want to find a place where I can just be. And it was either that day or the day after. Earlier that year, I'd auditioned for this show called How to Get Away with Murder for the lead character in it. And I hadn't got that role, so I forgot about it. Like, just after my 24th...
Is that the Viola series?
Yeah, that's it.
Viola Davis, yeah.
And so I ended up getting a call right around my birthday saying, hey, Elliot, we're making the show, and we loved your audition. Obviously, you're not doing that role, which Alfie Enoch played, and he did an amazing job. They're like, but there is this guest role. We'd love to have you on. Let's I think it was that night, fly out that night. So I had to fly from England that night, flew to LA, arrived here at like 1 a.m, went to where I was staying, didn't sleep, and then went straight for a costume fitting at 6 a.m. And then at like 11 a.m. that morning, I was on set, on location in LA, shooting with Viola Davis. Wow. And I was like, I think I just found my new home.
No, see, let me. I'm watching my time. Let me ask you right quick, because I want to get back to Uli here. But one quick follow up.
No, he's fine.
To the extent you can, in short order, tell me how bouncing between family members, trying to find yourself, puts you on a path in a profession where you're playing other people. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. It's a great question too.
Yeah.
I know I learned to camouflage myself, and I also learned how to adapt to different scenarios, situations, and personalities. You know, I love both of my parents, and they couldn't be more different. Yeah. And the environments I went between as a kid couldn't be more different. But to survive, I had to learn how to shift and adapt myself almost like a chameleon to be able to fit in. And I mean, for obvious reasons, that lent itself amazingly to being an actor.
It makes sense. You see why I do this every day? I
got it.
I can tell when there's something there, man. I want the probe back. Our remaining moments with the co-stars of Countdown, the Amazon Prime series. You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
Why does Tavis say, when we come forward? Because he's not going back. And you don't have to go back either. Forward ever, backward never. More of Tavis Smiley when we come forward.
See website for details. Bills Happen is not a lender and does not make credit decisions. Hey, bills happen. So when you need extra cash fast, go to billshappen.com. Have you been turned down? Are your credit cards maxed out? Do you have bad credit? Go to billshappen.com. All you need is a job and a checking account. You can find a lender and get up to $5,000 cash as early as tomorrow at billshappen.com. BillsHappen.com is the smart way to get a personal lender now. So if you need extra money for car repairs, medical bills, family emergencies, whatever you need cash for, go to BillsHappen.com and you can get the money you need as soon as the next day, up to $5,000. At BillsHappen.com, our process is safe, secure, and all online. No one to deal with in person, and Bills Happen does not charge you any fees to use our service. It's easy. When you need a lender, just remember, when bills happen, go to BillsHappen.com. BillsHappen.com for the cash you need now. BillsHappen.com.
Lena Bloom for the Bail Project.
Imagine you're stuck in a jail cell and you can't afford bail and someone offers you a way out. Just plead guilty and you can go home and kiss your kids goodnight. What do you do? What thousands have. You plead guilty whether you are or not. Cash bail makes poverty a crime. That's why the Bail Project helps those who can't afford it while fighting to end cash bail. Because freedom should be free.
Brought to you by the Ad Council.
If you're like me, 60 and retired, making ends meet, especially here at the supermarket and drugstore, is tough. I'm so blessed to have found benefitscheckup.org. It's a free and confidential website from the National Council on Aging that connected me to $1,200 a year in programs that help pay for food, medicine, utilities, and more. Maybe it can help you. benefitscheckup.org.
You know where you want to go in life, and City National Bank can help. City National knows the dedication it takes to build your vision for the future into a reality, and our team is here for you. We have a wide range of options to help, from personal savings accounts to interest-bearing money market savings accounts and more, all designed to help you get where you want to go. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Learn more at cnb.com. City National Bank is a subsidiary of Royal Bank of Canada, member FDIC.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
More honesty than you can handle. More empowerment than you can imagine. You're tuned in to Tavis Smiley.
Tavis Smiley and Elliot Knight and Uli Latukefu. Sometimes the best part of this show is in the commercial break. We will not reprise that on the air. I got 2.5 minutes left. I want to give it to Uli. So give me your journey to LA, sir.
Very quickly, I was on a show called Young Rock, which was on NBC for about 3 years. 2 of those, we were originally supposed to shoot in LA. COVID happened. They relocated it to Brisbane, Australia. We shot there for 2 years. The third year we shot in Memphis. And
night and day, Brisbane and Memphis.
Tell me about it. I said, we're going where?
Yeah, exactly.
Shout out to Memphis. I had a great time. You know, the city of Memphis gets a lot of flack.
Don't you say the blues?
Yeah,
the
food's
the
amazing.
people.
The people's great.
I love it. Yeah.
So shout out to Memphis.
Yeah.
And then we'd been kind of my wife and I.
Yeah.
Had been kind of toying with the idea of moving out here because prior to that I'd been successful kind of landing roles from Australia. And then we just decided to take the leap and then apply for our green card and that kind of thing, and then we got it, and here we are.
I'm glad you did when you did.
Yeah,
yeah. I'm gonna leave that alone.
Yeah, enough said.
Yeah, no, exactly. I'm glad you got your green card when you got it. Cause you try that right about now.
Yeah, I'll be still in Sydney.
You're still in Sydney or Brisbane. So
Where is that application?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, you applied? Did you really?
It's nice when you have smart guests. They got it. We're gonna leave it alone.
Yes.
The show is called It's called Countdown. I said the count. Just Countdown. Amazon Prime series starring Elliot Knight and Uli Latukefu, who I'm delighted in having in studio. Congrats on this first iteration, and we pray there's more.
Thank you, brother.
Boss.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Nice to have you here. More of Tavis Smiley when we come forward.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. Immigrant rights advocates in Los Angeles are staging a day-long community stoppage, boycotting stores like Walmart and Target to protest ICE activity. The Coalition for Humane Immigrant Rights Los Angeles Communications Director, Jorge Mario Cabrera.
They know better. They know that this is a very peaceful activity, that this is within our rights.
Cabrera says the action highlights immigrants' economic power. A judge overturned the convictions of the Winston-Salem Five for the murder of NBA star Chris Paul's grandfather, Nathaniel Jones, but 2 men, Rayshawn Banner and Nathaniel Cofton, remain jailed as the DA appeals. And MC Hammer is being sued by JP Morgan Chase over a defaulted auto loan on a 2023 Land Rover. The bank claims he owes over $76,000 and won't return the vehicle. They are seeking repossession, repayment, and legal costs for breach of contract. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Buy more, save more at Scandinavian Designs Furniture. For a limited time, save $200 instantly for every $800 you spend in store. Complete your look for less or splurge on something you love. Stop by your local showroom today or shop online at ScandinavianDesigns.com.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Angels opened their 3-game series against the Dodgers Monday night with a 7-4 win in Anaheim. The Angels are 4-0 against the Dodgers this season. Things are not going well for the Dodgers. Their 12-19 slump since July 4th is starting to catch up to them. Monday night's loss dropped the Dodgers' lead over San Diego to 1 game in the NL West Division. On July 2nd, San Diego was 8.5 games behind the Dodgers. Rams head coach Sean McVay is not sure when quarterback Matthew Stafford will be able to practice with the team. McVay also is not sure if Stafford will be ready for the Rams season opener September 7th against Houston. It appears the alarm has finally sounded at Rams headquarters about Stafford's health. The 37-year-old Stafford